Hello and welcome. This is going to be a lore reading. See what we've learned. Like we mostly traipsed around on the Wounded Coast. The Orlesian Empire. There are many lords and ladies in Val Royeaux. I mean this literally. Once the system of noble titles in Orlais was labyrinthine. There were barons and baronesses and baronets and sir barons and a horde of others, each with its own origins and its own nuances of comparison. The Orlesian aristocracy is ancient and much given to competition. All the nobility play the grand game, as it is known, whether they wish to or not. It is a game of reputation and patronage, where moves are made with rumors and scandal as the chief weapon. No gentle game this. More blood has been drawn as a result of the grand game than any war the Orlesians have fought. Of this I am assured by every gentleman here. I feel like they might be playing up how important the game is. As far as titles went, everything changed with the coming of Emperor Drakon, who established the Orlesian Empire as it exists now, and who created the Chantry. There is no more venerated figure in Orlais. In Val Royeaux, the statue of Drakon stands as tall as the statue of Andraste. Drakon determined that the grand game was tearing Orlais apart, and so he abolished all titles besides his own, and lord and lady. Kind of find that difficult to believe, because I got the impression that Orlais at the time of Drakon was only just out of a tribal society. It's only just starting to establish cities and that. So the idea that they had that level of intrigue, court intrigue at that point, seems kind of incredible, but I am told with some twittering amusement that this action did not end the grand game as Drakon had intended. Now the lords and ladies collected unofficial titles rather than official ones, such as the exalted patron of Tassius Clay, or uncle to the champion of Tremes. It is a headache to remember such titles, and one winces to think of the poor doorman at the balls who must rattle them off as each guest enters the room. Yeah, sometimes that's kind of the origin of heralds. They needed to be able to announce everyone. Thus they also needed to know what all the various symbols of the houses were on site. The aristocracy is different from Ferelden in other ways as well. The Legion's right to rule stems directly from the Maker. Divine right of kings. That's sometimes it's a very old thing, and used to be in some cases you actually claim to be descended from the gods. There exists neither the concept of rule by merit nor the slightest notion of rebellion. I highly doubt that. If one is not noble, one aspires to be, or at least aspires to be in the good graces of a noble, and is ever watching for a way to enter the patronage of those better placed in the grand game. And then there are the masks, and the cosmetics. I have not seen so much paint since the kennels of Highever. But that is another story. From Beyond the Frostbacks by Ban Tarik of Westhill 920 Dragon. Yeah, sounds like they're playing up how important and grand their game is. The Wounded Coast. One of the few roads leading into Kirkwall passes through a dangerous area known as the Wounded Coast. The road winds close to the cliff edge that looms over waters with many a precipitous drop up to the churning waves below. There's many a local legend involving travelers falling or jumping or having been flung from those heights. What a pity you can't do that yourself. I mean, like flinging your enemies from it. It'd be kind of pointless in the game to be able to actually throw yourself off and kill yourself. From the cliffs, the road leads through jagged hills that line the path like sharp teeth. Bandits use these hills as cover from which to ambush caravans. There's more fear here than bandits. More to fear here than bandits. Of course. Yes, like the numerous spiders. Once one leaves the hills, you may come upon a maze of sharp canyons, the hunting grounds of many fierce creatures. It is a place of secrets dating back to the golden age of Tevinter Imperium, where ancient relics and statues crumble in time with the rocks. From Pseuderology, Travels of Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Is there anything new in the lore? No. Characters. Viscount Marlowe Dumas. What happened to Viscount Perrin Threnhold was a travesty. I served him in the keep, and my blood boils when I hear people call him a tyrant. He was a good man who tried his best to free Kirkwall from the control of those who use power for their own purposes. It's always been that way here, hasn't it? Long ago it was the Imperium, then it was the Kunari, then the Orlesians, now the Templars. When have we ever ruled ourselves? He tried to kick those Templar bastards out and give us real freedom, and what did it get him? So, I understand that the concept of personal freedom was not so well known, like in pre-modern times, and freedom was usually, nobles wanting freedom to do as they will. But now the Chantry has chosen Lord Marlowe Dumas as his replacement. After weeks and weeks of arguing, after telling the nobility that they would be choosing their Viscount, after everyone saying it was time to use a new title, why not King? Why keep using the name imposed by the Orlesians? And after all that, the Chantry chose him. I suppose I can see why. Everyone thinks he has the spine of a jellyfish. And it does seem that way. Truly, he has the Templars on one side, the nobility on the other, and everyone expects him to solve all their problems, yet he has no power to actually accomplish it. He keeps the peace as best he can, and I think he does a good job, even if no one else does. And he loves that sad little boy. I see the way young Seamus looks at his father, and I feel for him, locked up in the keep with no other children, watching his father be put down by every self-important windbag that walks into the great hall. It makes me miss the days of Perrin Threnhold, even if they were chaotic. We can only hope that one day Seamus gives this city the legacy he deserves. Excerpt from a letter by an unknown servant found in the gallows vault, 928 Dragon. There's notes, nothing, and that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, do any relevant things with YouTube's buttons, and have a nice day.